What is up, everybody? It's Joe from JLW Games coming at you with another cool video back in Planet Coaster in Time City, and I just want to welcome you to the only 30th episode, and really awesome because we get some pretty cool stuff done here in this episode. First off, we create this fence, or well, not a fence, a gateway that actually leads to a backstage area, like this service road, as if you will. That's what we're gonna call it. It's gonna be a service road that actually will, a lot of parks have service roads to have access to different areas in the park. If they ever need to bring like vehicles through and stuff like that, that's kind of where these go. And I wanted to create a little bit of a gateway so those can be there. So when the park's open and stuff, the gate would be closed, of course. And during its like offsite or when it's not open, they can have these open for the service road to be there and open so they can transfer different parts to like different rides and stuff, and kind of around there. So pretty cool. And it will be a nice little detail for the park in general. And I can't wait to see how this area unfolds more, because by the end of this episode we've developed this area a little bit better, and that was kind of the idea behind this episode, is actually just develop the same area and kind of give everything closer to a more complete state. And that's kind of the idea of this episode, is just getting things down to more of a complete feel to it. So that's what we wanted to do. And get everything kind of looking really good. We also work a lot more on some custom supporting on the GCI wooden coaster. It's starting to look really good as well. I'm very excited of how all that custom supporting is going to actually start looking in the end, and it's starting to look really good. I've started it on a couple of new areas as well, not just this one spot that we've been working on. I actually got it done, or actually started doing it a little bit on some other areas, and we adjusted the perimeter fence in the end as well. I'm really proud of how this is starting to look. Like, it's really starting to come together. Like, excuse me, if you really dive into it, it's gonna look really good. If you just look at stuff, in the end, it's gonna look really nice. I do still have to figure out where to get some footers for these. I still don't know what I'm going to use for footers for these. We'll figure that out, but I can do those later, of course. So for right now, we're just getting these wider supports up to make it look nice and beautiful. And the coaster is already looking less like Planet Coaster-ish and more like real life, kind of. A lot of GCIs have these wider supports that just kind of bring the coaster together and support it very well. And I'm using a lot of complex kind of style when it becomes, there's a lot of gateway engineering that has to go in, technically, if it was real, because we have a lot of the queue lines going underneath the structure and everything like that. So I want to make sure it looks like the way it's supposed to. So that's kind of the idea that we're going on with that. So we don't actually get into the tower ride in this episode. I was hoping to do some tower to help work on a little bit more on the scenes, but we didn't actually get around to it. I did focus a lot more just mostly on this section of the park by the GCI. So I'm still looking for a name and theme along with this GCI coaster a little bit more. We need to get some theming kind of going on. A name and theme and kind of like a storyline for it. We're still trying to figure out a little bit on that, and hopefully that can actually come together and hopefully turn into something very special, because I think this ride has something to be said for that. It's actually probably the best GCI style kind of coaster that I've built before, and I'm very proud of it. So I want to make sure I get everything kind of done correctly, get it done right, and I can't wait till I can actually recolor the employees on the greeter and the operator in the ride. I'm actually very happy about that. I can't wait till that actually happens. So Of course, with the entrance of a ride, you gotta have a height stick, and you have to have some a notice board for ride safety and everything. So I'm trying to make sure to not forget these specific items. I like these I like throwing these little details in there to because they're all gonna have height requirements, and you want to make sure that those are enforced for your ride. So you gotta have these height requirements. You gotta have these height sticks and heights. Right by the ride, ride entrance and everything, just like they need to be. So I like to put these little notice boards up here as well. I'm gonna have the name of the ride above on the on the entrance area as well. I'm also saving this little plot of land over there for the actual sign, like the big grand entrance sign for this coaster, and I can't wait to get working on that. But of course, we're gonna need a name first of the ride before we can really do anything there. So you're gonna see in this episode we're gonna do a lot of we're doing a lot of curbs and just kind of completing the pathway areas a little bit more, foliage, and just in general getting this into a more complete state. And that's of course the big idea of what we want to do, is get the areas into a more complete state and just really start developing the section a little bit more at a time. And we're doing a lot of supporting on the coaster. We're doing a lot of just path work and just a lot of different work as well. So this is my first time actually working on these custom supports in a different section and actually doing an inside section of the supports. So you see a lot of these with one giant footer in the middle sometimes, and I was thinking about doing that, but I'm still kind of iffy if I want to do that or not, because I am kind of working on some uneven land at this spot. But we can of course adjust that. I'm just gonna have to find a piece big enough for that, or I'm just gonna have to really kind of figure out what I'm gonna do with that. So I couldn't find anything at the time. One tricky part is I want to do it on the outside as well, but the only thing is that the coaster is slightly outside the border, so I can't really build much outside of that. I'm surprised it let me build outside of it at all, but I might have to leave the outside of this final turn without the extra supports, even though I really want to have them there. But it's looking really fantastic. I'm liking how these supports are turning out, and I think they're going to be a very nice addition to the GCI and just complement it that much more. I never really thought about custom supporting a wood coaster before until I found, I think it's called Pioneer, on the Steam Workshop. I wish I could give him credit on the name, but I can't remember. But I got a lot of inspiration from that build because they custom supported the coaster, or the wood coaster, and it looks pretty awesome, pretty freaking awesome. I'm pretty it's pretty awesome. You just got to check it out. And in the middle of the recording, I actually did you a little bit of reshade as well, just to give it a nice little fun feel to it, and a film feel. And then of course, with this episode, I wanted to go in and work a little bit on the interior of the gift shop of the GCI coaster, and I know I wanted to do another photo booth section as well, so I decided to go a little bold here and went with a diagonal kind of spot here for this little photo spot section. And we're also going to be using placeholders on the on the screens as well. We're using the placeholder for the red fire photos, and we're going to create our own eventually once we have the name and theme, and we're going to figure out where the photo is going to be on the ride as well, and we'll actually put in the camera and everything for it at the same time. So very, very cool, and I still think I might do something for Raptor Run along these lines as well, and give them a little bit of a shop with some photo ops as well. So yeah, a lot of interior work starting to go into this shop, and we get some good stuff done, and hopefully we get more done down the line in the future. So this booth will turn out really cool. I'll get a employee on the other side of that to kind of work there, and hopefully it will turn out good. And that's where the ride photos, and with that being there, I had to extend the building behind it just a little bit because there needed to be a little bit of a back section I felt, and it adds a little bit more shape to the building anyways, so I was actually pretty pleased with that. And I actually go into the blueprints and use some of these like t-shirt kind of blueprints that I found on the Steam Workshop that work really well. And I'm gonna just use some of those for right now, and kind of get a little bit creative as much as I can with those. So at the moment, that's about all we do in the interior. We're gonna do some more and more. If you ever watched the Most Realistic Coaster series on Twitch, where I live stream the most realistic, I also have those on YouTube as well. So you can check those out. I did actually do a gift shop for Red Fire. That is the B&M floorless coaster that I built in that park, which has become a park now, which is not actually just a single ride. It's actually become a park now, so hopefully that will turn out nice. But you can see a common theme throughout this episode is actually working a lot on the custom supporting for the wood coaster. I'm just getting real stoked for them, and I think it's turning out really, really nicely, and I'm very excited for how those will look in the very end. And I think it just benefits this coaster just so much more. You know, it looks fantastic, and hopefully, I think I'm going to start doing that with my wooden coasters from now on. I think that they just look great. So I might add some custom supports, wide supports, maybe possibly to the Wolf on Arrow Valley as well. You know, and I like adding on. And I've actually started doing more custom supports on some of my existing coasters in the parks to give them a better look and feel to them, you know. Custom supporting is just a big part of Planet Coaster now, and I think it just makes the game that much better, and I'm so happy that they added that in the last update. I don't know what I'd be doing without them, you know. The coasters just look 10 times better with those custom supports now, and you know, you can just do so much with them. And the in-game supports are still pretty top-notch for what they are. They obviously aren't ever going to get the greatest auto-generated supports. It's the best auto-generated supports we've had, I think, in a roller coaster game. Instead, you know, I mean, in the first Roller Coaster Tycoons, you just had the toothpick supports that were just straight and didn't really have much to them. Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 was the same. Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, again, they continued that, and we never really got like more realistic supports. And Frontier has done kind of the biggest attempt at that, you know, throwing in some wide supports on some stuff. So I do like the auto-generated supports are the best ever. But, you know, when you put custom supports in the game, you know, you're never going to see those again. So, the custom supporting is just really needed, and I think it just works very well. I'm very happy with it. So, again, we're just developing this area more. So, you know, you got this little planter area. I thought it turned out really nice. Not too much about it, but just kind of develops that area just a little bit better. You know, getting some lamps and just some path elements in there, you know, so the bins and the benches, excuse me, as well. So this area, hopefully, maybe by the next episode or two, will actually be more on a complete side of things. We need to work a little bit more on the queue line as well, of course. That's the main thing, but I just wanted to get a lot of these curbs done and really get it into a more complete section, more complete state, not section. So before we kind of move on to the next area, so I just want to get each section just really, really done. And this sign's actually going to be a custom sign. I'm going to throw these in here throughout the park a little bit more often. You're just going to see these custom signs that are just going to have random things on them. Especially in like this section, you're going to see some random signs as well with who knows what's going to be on them. But yeah, we do a lot of perimeter fence work as well in this episode later on, and I think that's one of the last things I do. But I wanted to do another barrier wall over here with the terrain on the other side as well, which I think in the last episode we did on that one side. And I do the same thing over here with some more rock work, and it just kind of looks cool, and it's a nice little transition in the terrain, and works pretty well. So I think I'm pretty proud of it, and hopefully it just keeps developing into something much better later on as well. So hopefully that keeps going, and I hope that I can add more and more theming in this little spot right here as well. I just want to add more and more theming. It seems like it's still missing something, so it just needs more theming and foliage and maybe some more rock work as well. It always can go a long way at the same time. So yeah, there's not much to say about that. So but I want to thank everyone again so much for the support that you give me. And as for the channel's future, I've been trying to really focus more on some more cinematic and more quality on the channel lately, instead of being more lazy. The way I've been lazy is pretty much just posting my Twitch streams to YouTube without editing them or anything, and said, okay, it's good. But I think from now on, I'm definitely going to be doing more time lapses. I'm going to keep Time City the way it is, with the time lapses, because that actually has some editing to it and interesting stuff like that. But I'm going to try and do some more cinematic videos and try and learn a little bit more on my cinematic skills and stuff like that, because I've done a couple of videos lately and they actually turned out really good, and I want to try and keep those up and just add some more to it. So I'm going to try and avoid from doing a lot of posting just for my stream straight to YouTube, and you might see it every once in a while, but I'm going to try and do more quality stuff, as in if I do a full episode of like the next realistic park and everything, I'm going to try and actually maybe turn it into a time lapse, just like Time City. I think people just like the condensed version with the time lapse a little bit better, so they have so they can see everything that was made in a less amount of time. So a lot of people like that, I think. So, and I'm going to try to do more like opinion videos on like updates and Planet Coaster Talk and stuff like that. Just in general, like you saw with me talking about the World's Fair pack and everything. So they'll all be hopefully better in the long run for the channel. So, but that is going to about do it for this episode. As you can see, we did a little bit more perimeter fence work over there, and that's going to about kind of wrap things up with some more custom supporting and the fence work. So, but hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We'll be back with Time City very, very soon again. So hope you guys have a great day, even cooler tomorrow, and we will catch you guys next time. Be sure, again, if you want to watch these live on Twitch, be sure to go check us out on Twitch and follow us on Twitch and do everything you want to do. If you want to watch and actually interact with me while I make these episodes. So, again, I want to thank you guys for watching, and once again, have a great day. You go tomorrow, and we'll see you guys in the very next episode or live stream. Thanks so much, and goodbye.